England, but even here I'm optimistic it will break up as we go through the day if you're looking for sunny skies. Still something of a breeze blowing along the south coast and particularly in the far southwest, but it's just a bit of a breeze really, not as windy as it was during yesterday. And the winds will pick up a little bit in the far northwest as well. But generally light winds, plenty of sunshine and feeling warmer with sunnier skies in southeast Scotland. Look at that, 16 in Edinburgh. Further south, temperatures also 16, 17 degrees. So feeling very pleasant. It will turn cold again Friday night into Saturday morning. Again, some frost possible to start the weekend. But look at that, plenty of sunshine. A bit more cloud in northern Scotland. A weather front approaching could bring some showery rain to the Highlands and the Western Isles at times. But for most, the sun will continue into the weekend. And yes, a chilly start, but by the afternoon, temperatures easily getting into the mid-teens.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
You could be the proud owner of a brand new Benevan 122. This very latest 2026 model comfortably sleeps 4, comes complete with built-in kitchen, compact washroom and is worth over £67,000. But that's not all, as we'll also give you a further £25,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like in the coming year. For another chance to win a camper van and cash, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB20 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of May. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk
No,
now?
that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
We love Great Britain. We love its history, its culture and its tradition, and that's why we're so proud to be part of GB News.
You look genuinely emotional. Oh, come here.
GB News does pay attention to those who are ignored by the mainstream media. The majority of this country whose forefathers fought and died to maintain liberty, to fight for freedom of speech.
The rule of law, the rights of property and democracy. This is the heritage that our country should be so proud of.
Which of course includes our Christian heritage. There's been a huge resurgence in the number of people going to church. Perhaps they're not finding what they're looking for, and they're looking for something a bit deeper, a bit more truthful, a bit more akin to Britain's Christian heritage.
That's right, get ready, because the most exciting night in general election history starts now! Good evening, it's 9 p.m. I'm Patrick Christys and we are live from Leeds. Hello everybody. Fantastic. We are going to have a great night this evening. There are so many big issues to go at today.
When the British people are facing hard times and these energy bills will make life harder for the British people, we're determined to act.
Now, make no mistake, this plan means migration will fall. That's a promise.
Does anyone really think that someone can tell President Trump what to do? Come on.
And all of those issues are playing out right here.
So, you know, when the energy sort of prices start to come in, that's going to hit us hard.
Labour have all 7 seats. Labour have all 7 seats here around the Leeds area, but they are set to lose 5 of them. 4 to Reform, 2 to the Greens. It's very, very much all to play for, isn't it? We went to Rachel Reeves' constituency earlier today, which is more than could be said for her. Have you ever seen Rachel Reeves here?
I haven't seen her personally, no.
No, I've never seen her.
No. No.
No.
No.
People are telling us that the social contract is broken.
Too easy to go on welfare. It's too easy. I've worked 43 years. Yeah. Worked since I'm 18. Paid tax, enjoying paid taxes. I'm proud to pay taxes, but I'm not giving it away.
But you know me, if I'm going to come somewhere, I've got to get stuck in.
Angle it downwards, you want to be pressing down.
Oh,
yeah,
I
there
see.
You go. You don't want to be sawing it too much. Straight lines is better so you don't damage the fish.
And it's safe to say we have met more than a few tremendous characters.
Well, I'm only 17, but I've had a rough life.
I absolutely love you. I absolutely love you.
And I'm Alex Armstrong here in the studio with some more characters. I've got Tory peer Lord Bailey here with me and former Labour advisor Matthew Laza.
So, all that's left to say is get ready, Britain. Here we go.
Good evening. The top stories from the GB newsroom. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says US President Donald Trump was not dragged into the war with Iran. He gave an update this evening saying Iran is weaker than ever.
We are winning and Iran is being decimated. Iran's missile and drone arsenal is being massively degraded and will be destroyed. Hundreds of their launchers have been destroyed. Their stockpiles of missiles are being hit hard, and so are the industries that produce them. That's important.
That comes as gas prices have soared to a 3-year high across the UK and Europe after an attack on a major energy site in Qatar, which raised fears of global supply disruption. Iranian missile strikes are reported to have caused significant damage at the Ras Laffan complex, pushing up UK gas prices more than 20%. Donald Trump warned Iran against further attacks, threatening to massively blow up their major gas field if Tehran attacks Qatar again. Sir Keir Starmer has condemned Iran's actions in the Gulf, warning the escalation could have global consequences. In a joint statement with leaders including France, Germany and Japan, the Prime Minister criticised attacks on commercial vessels and energy infrastructure and what they describe as the de facto closure of the Strait of Hormuz. Ministers say reopening the strait is a priority, while the Prime Minister urges de-escalation to ease pressure on global markets and the cost of living. The Defence Secretary says the UK will now step up support for Gulf states, with RAF jets already intercepting drones and British systems protecting key sites. In other news today, the meningitis vaccine rollout in Kent has been expanded as the number of cases linked to the outbreak has now risen to 27. The Health Secretary says anyone who visited a Canterbury nightclub earlier this month, along with students at affected schools and universities, will now be offered vaccines and antibiotics, calling the spread something we've never seen before. 2 people have died and cases have now been confirmed across 4 schools, 2 universities in Kent and 1 institution in London, all linked to a single exposure event. More than 900 people have already been vaccinated, as officials say further cases are expected. Elsewhere, the government has struck a new agreement with Nigeria aiming to ease the return to the country of migrants with no right to remain in the UK. The West African nation has agreed to recognise UK letters, an identification document issued to those without a valid passport, meaning the UK will no longer have to wait for Lagos to issue emergency travel documents. The deal, clinched by the Home Secretary and her Nigerian counterpart, comes during the Nigerian president's state visit to the UK. They also agreed to jointly crack down on criminal gangs abusing visa routes with a new standardised document checking system to verify applications. And a Kensington photographer has said it was a true honour to take a new portrait photograph of the Prince and Princess of Wales ahead of the state banquet for the Nigerian president at Windsor Castle. This image was taken by British-Nigerian photographer Christiana Ebenezer in Windsor last night and published on William and Kate's social media channels the following evening. The photograph shows Princess Kate wearing a tiara, a green high-necked dress and a Royal Victorian Order sash as she stands beside Prince William, who's in a white tie and tailcoat decorated with medals. Those are the latest headlines for now. More news in an hour.
Tune in to GB News Radio wherever you are. Online, on DAB Digital Radio, on TuneIn, on Radio Player, on Nation Player and on your smart speaker. Just say, play GB News.
Okay. It is raucous here tonight in Leeds. Yes, we are live from Leeds, and I've got a feeling it's going to be a night to remember. Look, loads on the agenda today, all of the top topics. We've got energy bills up. We've got unemployment up. We've got a stagnant economy. We've got another U-turn on immigration. Is it 16 or 17 U-turns now? I've lost track. But this is a perfect little microcosm for the rest of the country here in Leeds. 7 Labour seats currently, set to lose 5 of them, 4 to Reform, 1 to the Greens. And I went out and about today to speak to real people about the issues that really matter to them. And it's fair to say this lady's a bit of a character. I can see that you're very busy at the moment here. I want you to try to teach me to basically flip some burgers, make some bacon rolls, all of that stuff. And whilst we do it, talk to me about the politics of the day. But let's start with this.
Right,
Come on.
you've washed your hands, so they're hygienic clean. You've put a fabulous... Well, I didn't know there was any other teams in this world. I thought we only had Leeds United.
Yeah, well, I support the other United.
Well, what do I... Well, sorry, I'm sorry about that, love. Then you add a serviette, then you get yourself a bun.
Yeah.
And are you been allowed to use a sharp knife?
I'm allowed to use a sharp knife.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, just to be sure, we'll cut it for you, dear.
Yep.
And hold your bun. If you're left or right-handed.
I'm right-handed.
Get some this young lady here, my voluntary workers, because they don't work long enough to be employees, to be truthful.
Okay.
She will pass you the yellow ones to go with your
Thank
pinny.
you very much. Lovely.
And then what do you want to say? The burger?
Yeah, well, go on, why not? I mean,
come on, then, get over there, then. Right. I'll tell you what, get one of them, put it on the eat bit there.
Yeah.
Give it a second, then turn it.
Okay, all right.
You have the capability. You're not as daft as you look. I mean, you're not, you know what I mean?
Fantastic. Right.
Turn it over, you're doing a cheese one.
Whilst I'm doing this...
Yes, darling?
You will know, as well as anyone, I've just ruined your burger.
Don't matter
You'll
about
know, as well as anyone, that this has been a Labour stronghold for a very long period of time.
For a long time.
And Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, her seat is just round the corner.
Yep.
How do you think she's doing? Is she working for you?
She's one of England's biggest liars. She lied about the so much black hole when she said that pensioners wasn't getting any eating last year. Yep. There's talk about doing away with the bus pass. Right. We call her Rachel Hood because she's robbing from the poor and giving massively to the rich. If you've got a few bob, it don't matter what goes up, the petrol, the diesel, whatever. But if you're 73 or younger or older than I am, every halfpenny counts. Right. Today, the people on here might not take their rent today. There's some people have to come in taxis because there's a holding bay over there. They have big cages that they keep the stock in. No, hang on, you won't burn it.
Yeah, go on.
And then with the cost of diesel and petrol going up, every day it goes up. They have to come in a taxi, so their cost. So when whatever little bits they've got to sell, It's really panicky. You go and talk to anybody and they've got that look of a wild horse in their eyes because, am I going to take it? This is not an hobby. This is our livelihood. When I say I speak for we.
Yeah.
And it is, like I said, I've been trying to keep my husband alive and run a business at the same time.
Okay, so what could this Labour government do to make you happier? Am I leaving this, by the way?
No, you're right. Put it on there if you want.
Right, okay.
Open it.
Open it, yeah.
The only thing I could think they could do is bow out gracefully and give Farage the position.
So
he's the only man that can save us. Green Party, all she wants to do is take pictures of herself.
Right, I see.
Whoa, hey, and legalise drugs. Look at this lot. They don't want any more drugs.
But what's the big fear for you now? If we carry on like this for another few years, what would that mean for you?
It would mean that I wouldn't be in business. And I feel tearful. Yeah, well, it is. It is. In fact, I know that I won't be on the market for a long time because the accountant said, Lorraine, it's not your hobby. Your expenditure is far exceeding what's coming in, and you're propping it up a bit with your pension. And my pension's the one from the government that they keep squeezing. You know what I mean?
What kind of stress is this causing you?
Well, I'm only 17, but I've had a rough life.
I absolutely love you. I absolutely love you. I think this is great. But no, look, you know, I mean, this is...
But I must say this bit. It's not just a refreshment stall. If you normally come, there'll be old people around the corner. I say old, I'm one of them. Vintage, I'm not old, I'm vintage. Round the corner. Because they've got nowhere to go. They want a cup of tea and a bit of sympathy. We give sympathy if somebody's died or where to go for this, that and the other.
So that's the thing, right? So if you squeeze and squeeze and squeeze people who are getting up at the crack of dawn, working, you know, all the hours, topping up the business with the state pension, and then this goes, it also means that the people who come here, some of the older people who want a bit of company, who want an excuse to get out the house,
most definitely,
they lose that.
I'm on a treadmill every day, you know what I mean? At night times the figures don't match up always, but I'm like, what's it trigger? Next year, it's going to be better. You know, my husband and I, we've worked since we've been 13, because I come from a fairground family. So you're taught morals, manners, and to work hard, and to help people. And it's you see people that you know genuinely haven't got any money. There's a young lad in the town last week, he didn't have any shoes, and he asked my husband, could he keep his sleeping bag next to our electric wire? And my husband said, well, it will go, you can do, but it will go. And then in the end, even my husband felt sorry for him. He said, pack him something up. He said, I can't stand the thought that he's had nothing to eat today. Well, we can't be mother and father to everybody. No. The government's making it that people haven't got anything. It seems as though we're being punished for working hard. It's like we're naughty because you've worked hard and you've not broke the law, you've done what you should do.
Like they can take it off you because you've worked for it.
Yeah.
It looks like Labour is going to U-turn on their immigration policy. So what they were going to do is they were going to make it harder for people to get indefinite leave to remain. People are going to have to wait longer, people are going to have to earn a bit more money, people are going to have to speak English. They might now U-turn on that to make it basically easier for people to come to Britain. How do you feel about that?
What about the hundreds of thousands that's in here anyway and don't want to integrate with us all? And they want their own shops, they want their own barbers, and they're coming to this country for a better life. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. I've got children, I'm now a great grandma, so I want everybody to have a happy, well-fed, nice life, but not at the cost of my children.
Yeah.
It's all right to come in because they want to. If I was going to a country and they was kind enough to take me, then I'd want to do something to help that country, whether it's just sweeping the streets, doing whatever needed doing.
Wish you all the very best. Thank you very much.
No, you're very welcome.
Letting me not only cook the burger, but then crucially eat it myself.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be serving customers, and I've done none of that.
And I can assure you, you won't wake up dead in the morning.
No, I won't.
You won't.
Absolutely.
No.
I feel better already.
Well, it's wearing the pinny.
So thank you very much. All right.
Come
lovely
here,
to meet you.
Really nice to meet you. And I do like to watch you on the telly, but I like all of you. So don't make me choose, especially now I've had a cuddle.
Okay,
I love them all. You're good. Do you want saving, my darling? Because you've got your last chance of being saved by this young man.
Oh, go on. I could. What do you want? A hot dog. Which type of hot dog? We've got loads of different types.
He
wants the one at the end.
Shall I talk you through them?
As in the very end?
Yes.
Yeah, the very end.
It's
Okay.
seasonal special.
Fantastic. And would you like any sauce or onions on it, sir?
Yes.
Ketchup and mustard.
You got to open it before you put the sausage in.
Okay, there we are.
Good. Oh,
All right.
you could have a job here.
There we are.
There's a bag of onions, Steve, really.
Fantastic. Okay, get that in there.
Oh,
I have actually washed my hands, mate, so don't worry. Right, did you say any onions or anything? Onions, great.
Fabulous. Oh, how good are you at this?
There we go. Okay.
Are you having tomato and mustard, my darling?
He wants both, apparently. There you go.
Are you ready?
There you go.
We'll do it together. Oh, I like to say I've done some for you.
There we go. Brilliant.
Did you say coffee, Paul, sorry?
Well, I hope this is all right. I hope this is the best hot dog that you've ever had, mate. All right.
You just signed it, but it goes soggy.
There you go. All right, over to you. I've got no idea how much it costs.
$2.50, man.
But there you go. But I'll pay for it. I'll pick up the tab of this one, so don't worry. I'll sort it out. Yeah, 100%. All right. Take care, mate.
GB News now.
All right.
GB News.
One way to get viewers. All right, well, there you go. Now, the eagle-eyed viewers amongst you, will have noticed I was wearing a Leeds United apron there, which as a Manchester United fan is terrible. I'm from all right, but I'm from Manchester. I've come to Leeds. I put a Leeds United top on. That, my friends, is integration. Right, come on with me. Okay, come on with me, because I want to speak to our first guest of the evening, and this is Stephen Robinson. Stephen, thank you so much for joining us. And look, I've been told here that you think you're echoing some of the views of that lady there, which is that, you know, you're being punished for working hard at the moment in Britain. Would you go along with that?
I'd definitely say that. I lost my right arm at the age of 18 and I had to create my own job. Now, my job's over because I'm a residential landlord, and that's just been decimated by policy and Leeds City Council, and that's 25 years of creating a business. It's just over. So I'm trying to get out. Right. But, you know, you can't get out.
But getting out for you would presumably mean, what does that mean? Evicting tenants and things like that, which is obviously not something you'd want to do, right?
That means evicting good tenants. I have 12 families that are lovely families, and I need to give them all a Section 21 to remove them while Section 21s are available to us. By the way, I've never, ever issued a Section 21. I never needed to. But now, because of selective licensing being introduced to Leeds and the financial burden on landlords, it's just not worth it anymore. So I need to get out, but that's 25 years of investment and hard work that I created because, of course, I couldn't get a job as a disabled person, so I created my own job. Now that's just been destroyed overnight.
I mean, it's absolutely devastating to hear that. The other thing I would say that I've got in my notes here is that you are also a motivational speaker.
I am.
Right, now, after we've had a little bit of doom and gloom about the state of the economy and everything else, I wondered if maybe, before I throw back to the studio, you could just motivate us a little bit, really, and tell us that perhaps our best days are still ahead.
I'll give us all a bit of a pep talk. That is true, you know, they do say that failure doesn't exist. There's just different degrees of success.
Oh, lovely. Oh, what a wise man. What a wise man. Brilliant. All right, then, I'll throw it back to the studio. Over to you, Alex Follover.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Top stuff. We love to see it. And we've got characters here in the studio too. I've got Lord Bailey here with me, and I've also got Matthew Larser.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm not sure we can compete with Lorraine, who next time I'm in Leeds, I'm going to go and have a hot dog.
Yeah, but you should.
I'm sure it will be made by Patrick.
It looked good.
It's better when it's not made by Patrick.
I'll have one of Patrick Pay's though.
A special edition Patrick Christys hot dog. I mean, I'm glad he talked about that apron, because I thought that was going to be the first thing to bring up. But anyway, moving on. Rachel Hood. That's the name they're dubbing her up in Leeds instead of Robin Hood. It's Rachel Hood. Is she taking from the poor and giving to the greedy?
No, absolutely not. I mean, you know, she had a tough inheritance. I think she's done a good job. Clearly, things are going to be difficult with the economy because of what's going on in the Middle East, and we'll have to see what the government, if the situation continues, does about energy prices. But I think that what we have seen is a really stabilised economy, which delivers real advantages for working people, including in places like Leeds and other cities across the Midlands and the North.
Do you think the economy is really that stabilised, Matthew? Growing at 0.0%.
Well, I mean,
that's one way of being stabilised, isn't it? Stabilised to zero.
No. I mean, that across the whole, the economy's growing more than that across the year. That was one quarter. But is there more to be done? Yes. And what the biggest thing that I think that does need to be done is to get more people out of welfare and onto work. And that's why Pat McFadden, who's the Work and Pension Secretary, set out the first stage of what's a big plan. Because personally, I think that was the biggest failure, was when the welfare plan was shelved because backbenchers got up and upset about it. Skeptics said they would just quietly, stick it in the too difficult to deal with pile. And instead, what's happened is the government has already got, has got the beginnings of a plan. It needs to have more. There were some good announcements this week because the economy will only thrive if we get more people off welfare and into work, and that will mean we're less reliant on migration.
You've got to live by your motto of growth, which we haven't seen much of. Lord Bailey, one of the things Lorraine said in that van there was she called the Prime Minister and Rachel Reeves liars. Do you think you agree with her at all?
What was interesting about her calling them liars is that she could identify where she felt they lied. It wasn't some emotional outburst. She talked about winter fuel payments and those kind of things. I think the real danger for Labour is two things. They have absolutely no idea how to generate growth, and I'll demonstrate that to you because they are regulation crazy. And anybody who looks at the history of economy anywhere in the world will know that you need to stabilise your regulations, certainly not grow them. And most importantly, the kind of growth that the likes of people like Lorraine are looking for is employment growth. Yeah, that will help her business, it'll help her community, but they've put a tax on employing people. Anything you make cost more, people buy less of. So we're going to get no growth, and particularly in the pockets of working people. And just to go to Matthew's point about welfare, the real failing of the Labour government is that they cannot deal with the amount of people who are economically inactive because their backbenchers won't let them.
Yeah, just to throw the same question to you, Matthew. Rachel Reeves, Keir Starmer, did they lie to the British people?
No, I don't think they lied to the British people, but I think we've seen a few U-turns too many. And, my advice, if they're listening to my colleagues in government, is to stick to your guns. So Patrick said there's a possibility of retreat on what Shabana Mahmood's doing on things like indefinite leave to remain. And I'd say to the government, you've set out a plan, stick to that plan, and actually people will respect you if you do that.
Interesting stuff. Look, we've got loads more to come on the show. We'll be going back to Patrick in Leeds just after this very short break. He will see you in 2.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
the Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
Because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christys tonight, Late Edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, Late Edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
5 hosts,
5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5.
You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very, very. You see tonight on the
unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel. At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Good evening, everybody. As you can hear, it's a bit raucous here in Leeds, as you keep trying to say. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. Now, a lot of the national news topics today have been about energy, they've been about oil and gas, they've been about national insurance, tax, isn't it? So I wanted to find out how hard it is running a small business. We hear a lot about it. I wanted to go and find out. So I also wanted to see which option people were going to take, politically speaking, when it comes to trying to make their lives better going forward. Are they going to go green? Are they going to go reform? Well, we'll have to wait and see, but that seems to be the choice anyway. Now, there is a phrase, isn't there, that there's more than one way to skin a cat. Well, it turns out there's more than one way to skin a fish, and I don't know any of them. I must say, I am actually getting hungry already. It's a little bit early in the day for fish, though, for me. But I want you to talk to me, if that's all right, about how tough it is for a business like yours at the moment.
I would say very tough, very difficult. Costs are just constantly going up. It's so hard at the minute, you know, and it's been a continuous thing all year, since the last budget in particular. But now with the energy crisis that's looming, you know, I know there's the price energy cap, the Ofgem energy cap. When it's reset, you know, that's going to hit like everyone, and I don't even particularly think we're that insulated from it. That's more for households anyway. So, you know, when the energy sort of prices start to come in, that's going to hit us hard.
What specific bits of the budget, if you don't mind me asking, hammered you?
To be honest, it was the national insurance contributions, employer national insurance contributions. They just were so hard. They hit us like you would not believe. Minimum wage you can absorb, you know, that's, you're used to it. You have it every year. We had it under the Tories, we've had it all the time. But those national insurance contributions for employers just hit us like a ton of bricks. Right. They took so much money out of, you know, what we were making, and it's not as though people were spending more. Most people were saving more from their extra wage because they were worried about what prices were going to do. And then, of course, prices shot up. Our suppliers put their prices up. We obviously had our own minimum wage, you know, issues. So we were hit with the triple whammy of costs straight away. Suddenly you're looking at, you know, what might be an increased charge of a few pounds a kilo. With the amount of kilos that come through here, you're looking at thousands and thousands of pounds a week in extra costs that you weren't expecting to have.
Do you think you'll survive?
We've been
good.
We as a family have been here since before this market was built. We've been in the business, you know, over 100 years. In one iteration or another, same family line. We're not going anywhere, and we don't intend to go anywhere. We always find a way to survive.
Hopefully not forced out. That's the main thing.
Something.
Whilst I do this, talk to me a bit about some of the actual politicians then, because Rachel Reeves' seat is just around the corner from here, her constituency.
Is, yes.
So as Chancellor, how do you rate the job she's been doing?
Well, funnily enough, she used to knock on our door where I used to live, because we were in her constituency for a while where we live.
Right.
Or maybe she was campaigning for her colleagues, I don't know. So I never got the chance to meet her myself, but my wife did. I'm not impressed with her. I've not been impressed with her as Chancellor. I wasn't impressed with the promises she was making in opposition, saying they were fully costed when clearly they weren't. I mean, you can't say something's fully costed and then turn around and say you've got a 22 billion black hole that you can't fill.
Yes.
It's not fully costed. That's just basic maths. You know,
yes.
Get a calculator and work it out. So I'm not impressed with her.
Yeah.
In general, the government, I'm not impressed with Keir Starmer. He seems too much about the process and not enough about governing, if I'm honest. Ed Miliband isn't helping. He seems to be running the government. He seems to be the Prime Minister.
Well, let's talk about that.
Is what it seems like.
I'm going to ask you to... Oh, I've done myself up at the back there. There you go. Let's talk more about this as we crack on with this fish.
Yeah.
So, what is this fish?
This is haddock fillet.
Haddock, nice.
Yeah, Scottish haddock. We just got it in this morning. And the way you go about skinning, I've got a skinning knife. So you just angle it like that. You don't want to go too straight or too.
I can tell already I'm going to be rubbish.
I'm out of practice because I'm usually in the office. So you just want to get your incision there to begin with. Yeah. I've gone a bit higher up the tail than you would normally go to try and make it. But what you do is you want to pull the skin. You see there, once you've got to it, you want to pull the skin and just let it slide off the blade like that.
Yeah.
You can flick it over to make it a bit easier so you can see what you're doing.
Gosh. Expertly
like
done.
Expertly
I actually
done.
feel very sorry
any
for
practice. And
sorry for you. We're talking about your a tough time in the economy, and I'm about to ruin a bit of your produce here, so sorry about that.
All right. I'll have to take it home for my tea tonight.
I'll give it a go. So
I think it'd be too far for you to take it home.
Before we, yeah, well, especially in the car. Just before we crack on with the political side of it, so what, I'm making an incision here?
Yeah, just get it in, and then what you want to do is you want to get more down to this end of the knife.
Okay.
Right, and then you want to slide and pull the skin as you go.
Right, oh gosh, okay.
But angle it downwards, you want to be pressing down.
Oh,
yeah,
I
there
see.
You go. You don't want to be sawing it too much. Straight lines is better, so you don't damage the fish.
All right, so you've had a bit of a pop there at Rachel Reeves, Ed Miliband, and Keir Starmer. Can I ask, did you vote for Labour at the last election?
I did not, no.
You did not, right,
No.
okay. And this seat now is expected to potentially go green. How do you feel about that?
I'm not a Green supporter at all. I really can't stand them. Let's just have a look at how you're doing. You're getting a bit away from the skin. You want to angle it down more and push as you pull. I'm not a big supporter of the Greens. I think they're, from an economic point of view and a business point of view, they just don't have a clue. They're like just nowhere even close to the real world, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
I would never vote Green myself. And don't get me wrong, I have an electric car. I'm very much pro-energy security, pro-renewables, green energy in general.
Yeah.
But the Green Party don't seem to be the party of green energy anymore. They just seem to be this out-of-control party that don't really know what they are.
Right, well, look, I've had a go at this, and I'm sorry that it's not quite as good as it could have been. But, I mean,
it's a pretty
to the untrained eye, that looks a little... I've skinned a fish.
I mean, I've seen fishmongers over the years that have done a much worse job.
Well, there you go.
After years of experience.
Well, I'll tell you what, maybe I've got a career in this. Well, I would like to apologise to the fishmonger and indeed the fish for my efforts there. A little bit later on, I'm going to show you what happened when I went to Rachel Reeves' constituency, which is set to go Reform. That was Leeds Central. It's set to go Green, so it means that despite all of the problems that chap outlined there, apparently the people of Leeds Central think that the answer lies by voting for a man who thought you could hypnotise women into having bigger boobs. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Patrick. I'd love to see you picking up loads of new skills there. Well, listen, before we get to the panel, I'm joined now by Green Party councillor Martin Abrams. Martin, thanks very much for joining me this evening. Just to read out to you what one of the... Hi, good to see you, mate. The fishmonger there was talking about renewables, saying he's pro-renewable, he's pro-Greens, but the Green Party don't seem to be the party of green energy anymore. What would you say to that, Martin?
Well, that's simply not the case. Protecting the environment and promoting decarbonisation is at the very core of what the Green Party believes in, because you can't have a healthy society, you can't have healthy communities if you don't have a healthy environment. What the Green Party are really drilling down on and focusing on, though, at the moment, Alex, is things like the cost of living and rampant inequality in our society, because we live in the 6th richest country in the world. But this country is suffering from an inequality crisis. Almost 3 million people in this country went to a food bank last year, whereas the 50 richest families in this country own as much wealth as the poorest 50%, almost 34 million people in this country. That is simply unacceptable. And to have people rely on food banks for them to put food on the table and feed their kids, there's something deeply, deeply wrong. And that's why the Green Party are talking more about the economy. We're talking more about solving that inequality crisis with popular policies like things like wealth taxes, for example, asking the very richest in society just to pay a little bit more tax so that people can afford to buy food themselves.
Well, let's talk first of all the economy, and I've got a quick question for you on drugs policy as well. But on economy, that same fishmonger there just said that your economic and business plans aren't living in the real world, Martin. That you don't, the Green Party don't understand business. What would you say to that?
Well, you won't be surprised that I disagree with that. I'd really like to speak to that business owner, because I'd like to know what policies he's talking about. I mean, specifically, the Green Party would really focus on small businesses, will focus on our high streets. You know, there's a real problem in this country as well, Alex, that our high streets are absolutely disintegrating before our eyes. And our high streets are the very fabric of our communities. So unless you support those high streets, unless you support those small businesses by looking at things like reforming the amount of business rates that pay and exemptions, and, you know, really promoting those small and medium-sized businesses, then, you know, our communities are going to suffer. So the Green Party are in the real world. You know, we do want to talk about inequality. We do want to talk about the cost of living crisis, the things that people care about. And, you know, I think that shows by how far we've increased our polling numbers. We're polling the highest for voters under 65 at the moment.
Martin, sorry, because I'm squeezed for time and I really want to get your thoughts on this as well. A previous guest on Patrick's first part of the show there said that your policy on drugs would not be very beneficial. She said she wants to see less people on drugs. Of course, Green Party's policy is to legalise drugs. How do you respond to someone like Lorraine at the start of the show there?
Well, our policy is to have a public health approach to drugs policy, and that's what most of the experts in this field recommend. The UK has one of the highest drug deaths rates in the Western world. That is completely unacceptable, and it's criminals and, you know, criminal enterprises that benefit most from people that are addicted to drugs. You know, we're not going to start dishing out things like crack cocaine and all these scaremongering stories that have come out. We need a public health approach. We need to look at reform, and we will be talking to people before making any changes to that drugs policy. It is a sensible approach because we need to get people off drugs, and we need to stop people from dying from overdoses in this unregulated environment.
Martin Abrams, thank you so much for joining me this evening to give the Green Party perspective on all of this. Really appreciate it. That is Martin Abrams, Green Party councillor, there for you. Coming up next, more of Patrick in Leeds. Stay tuned, it's going to be a good one.
Be nice to escape the grey.
Clear skies, here we come.
As clear as our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Whilst high pressure dominates the UK's weather, low pressure is forced further south, bringing heavy rain into the Canaries and another low, causing a lot of breezy weather through the Greek islands, certainly lower than average temperatures here, and some heavy showers and thunderstorms moving through the Greek islands into Turkey as well as Cyprus by the weekend. Low pressure also bringing 1 or 2 showers across Spain and Portugal. A lot of fine weather for Italy, but it stays very unsettled through the weekend across the Canaries.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Good evening. Welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. Temperatures falling away overnight, making for a fresh start to Friday, but for most places it's going to be another day of blue skies and plenty of sunshine. High pressure is dominating. Now today we've had this weather front just draped across parts of the far north of England and the south of Scotland, making for cloudy skies. That'll tend to shift a little further south, the cloud, through the night, breaking up a little more over southeast Scotland. Could produce the odd spot of drizzle, but for most places it's dry and most places are going to be clear. Still a bit of a breeze blowing across the southwest. With the light winds elsewhere, though, temperatures will dip close to freezing, maybe a little below in some rural spots. So a chilly start to Friday for sure, but the sun has a bit of welly about it this time of year, so quite quickly the temperatures should start to rise. A bit more cloud trying to drift into the Western Isles and the Northern Isles of Scotland, but I think generally a sunnier day for southeast Scotland compared to today. Could be a bit of mist and fog early on, but that should clear. There will be a bit more cloud tomorrow, I suspect, over parts of eastern England. But even here, I'm optimistic it will break up as we go through the day if you're looking for sunny skies. Still, something of a breeze blowing along the south coast, and particularly in the far southwest. But it's just a bit of a breeze, really, not as windy as it was during yesterday. And the winds will pick up a little bit in the far northwest as well. But generally light winds, plenty of sunshine and feeling warmer with sunnier skies in southeast Scotland. Look at that, 16 in Edinburgh. Further south, temperatures also 16, 17 degrees. So feeling very pleasant. It will turn cold again Friday night into Saturday morning. Again, some frost possible to start the weekend. But look at that, plenty of sunshine. A bit more cloud in northern Scotland. A weather front approaching could bring some showery rain to the Highlands and the Western Isles at times. But for most, the sun will continue into the weekend and difference. Yes, a chilly start, but by the afternoon, temperatures easily getting into the mid-teens.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
The Morley Services Club. Let me just set the scene a bit, because we've got these fantastic people here, but this is a club steeped in history, more than 100 years old. Used to do things like help contribute towards the funerals for members of our armed forces, if of course for whatever reason they couldn't pay it themselves. A beating heart of a local community, but as everybody knows, it's tough times for hospitality at the moment. Joining me here is Jake Kellett, who is the bar manager here. Give a little round of applause for Jake. Fantastic. And by the way, if you play your cards right, I will get a round in, OK? I will. Jake, just talk to me a little bit about some of the challenges that you're facing here at the moment.
Well, I mean, absolutely every single cost is going up. Business rates, minimum wage, national insurance. I mean, we're getting it from every angle, basically. And yet people have less money to spend, so our costs are going up, people are spending less money. So there's not much we can do. We're really, really trying. With Morley, it is incredibly competitive. There's must be 20 different bars and pubs in Morley now, and with a Wetherspoons bang smack in the middle, our prices are absolutely cheap because, I mean, for people to come here, they need a reason to come here, and cheap beer is one of the big things in Morley because it's a low-income area. People just don't have the money to spend.
Do you feel a little bit lied to by the government? Because there was a lot going into the election, wasn't there, about not raising taxes?
Well, yeah, because, I mean, they've raised every single tax against us. They said they were going to help businesses, and they've almost destroyed them. Small businesses especially. Yeah, it's awful.
It is. Well, look, we're going to carry on talking about this, but I do want you to try to show me how to expertly pour a pint here, right? So do you want to demonstrate? All right, there's some laughter. Do you want to demonstrate a little bit, and then I'll give it a go, try to butcher a pint?
Well, to make your life easy, I did think I'd make you pull the easiest pint to pull, which is... So, this is an ale. And I mean, an ale, it almost pours itself. You don't even have to tilt the beer.
Pours itself.
Seriously?
You can't mess it up.
Come on.
Okay.
It just slowly goes up. You make sure you go to the top of the head. And then that's it. Done. It'll settle itself.
Fine. And how much will this set me back?
Oh, £3.40.
OK, all right. And I don't know if you necessarily know this off the top of your head, but it'd be good for our viewers and listeners. Look, roughly, you know, to show the kind of margins that you guys are operating on. Like, what kind of profit is a pub making off a pint?
Well, we work on 50% margin, so that pint, for us to buy from breweries, costs us £1.70.
Right.
So when we put a 170 on top of that, but that doesn't include the wages, energy costs, everything else on top of that. So I mean, I couldn't work out the exact profit per pint, but minimal.
Right. Okay.
Minimal.
Now we're going to go back to the studio in a second. Do my job for me. Hold my microphone,
of course.
Please. Thank you very much. And I'm going to give this a go. Alex, when we come back, I'm going to have a perfectly poured pint. The problem is, it might be the one he did.
Burgers, fish, pints. Patrick's getting a whole skill set tonight. I love to see it. I love to see it. Matthew, I'll come to you first.
Can I just say, every time Patrick, is in a working men's club, he tells us next time the pint's going to be better. It never is. I'm just saying. I would be just as bad.
I have to say, I got a very good rating on my pint when I pulled it on Lee Anderson's show. But look, let's talk about hospitality, shall we?
Absolutely.
Is the Labour Party doing enough to save our dying pubs, really?
Well, look, I mean, obviously it's a very difficult time for people in hospitality. There's no getting away from that. And if we go back, they've had a pretty difficult, almost a decade now with COVID. So, and then the consequences of that. And then obviously there were, big support to try and get people out of COVID given. Some of that has tailed off, as we know. So some costs have gone up. But the government has stepped in so that smaller pubs, those sort of neighbourhood pubs, are getting some business rates relief. Of course, if I was running a pub, I'd want more. But you have to balance it out. And the government needs to make sure that it's doing what it can for hospitality. The biggest thing for hospitality and for all of us is to keep the economy in a steady place and to get growth. And does the growth need to get higher? Yes, it does.
Okay. Yeah, Lord Bailey, I'll come to you. The last government, I was talking about this the other day, Dishy Rishi was famous for all that help for hospitality during COVID. Are we getting a bit of a hang-up from that? Because there was a lot of relief as a result of COVID. That has to end at some point. And did the Tories sort of inflate the level in which these businesses could operate on for too long?
I'd say no, because the pandemic was a very particular issue. What's happened to hospitality now is the Labour government. Let's be clear. It sounds great when you say to people we're going to raise minimum wage, but what they've done is price out so many young people where that's where their start would have been. If you're a student now, if you're a working class student like I did, I had to work my whole way through university, you need that job in a pub. The pub cannot give you that job anymore. That's what's affecting hospitality. On top of that, you've had the business rates debacle. On top of that, you've had the cost of living, and on top of that you have a Chancellor who's done absolutely nothing for small business.
But you don't think the Tories played a little bit of a role in this? Because we did start to see pubs dying under the last government.
Yeah, but you've got to understand, I'm not going to sit here and say everything we did was correct, but the pandemic was a once-in-a-generational response to what went on, and if you talk to businesses then, the government did what they can do. But what we have now is a government that's defeating growth. They are pushing these businesses to the end. My colleague on the London Assembly, Emma Best, has done so much work speaking to pubs, small shops, etc., about what their problems are, and they'll always point to what this Labour government has done recently.
All right, well, let's go back over to Leeds with Patrick Christys. Over to you, Pat.
OK.
Let's see that pint.
Well, there we go. As you can see, I have, I think, mastered the perfect pint here. This was Jake's effort, this one, and that was mine. You can't split it,
They're
can you?
very good. I mean,
Yeah.
you could have told me yours or his.
There you go. Fantastic. All right. Well, look, I should just tell everyone, by the way, there is a bit of money behind the bar now, so crack on. I just want to say as well, earlier on today, I thought I'd pay a visit to Rachel Reeves's constituency, which is set to go reform, by the way, just to find out if anyone had ever seen her. Have you ever seen Rachel Reeves here?
I haven't seen her personally, no.
No, I've never seen her.
No.
No.
The lesser spotted Rachel Reeves. I think David Attenborough is going to start trying to do documentaries on her. We've got all of that and much more when we come back.
I'm Michelle Dewberry, this is Jubes & Co with you.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christys here. GB News.
Britain's news channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection, tune in to GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact that Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits. You have the power then.
Yeah, as I
And
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel. At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Leeds. Thank you very much, everybody. So, one of the big news stories of the day is Labour's potential / definite U-turn on immigration. They were going to make it tougher for people to get indefinite leave to remain. It looks like they're going to water that down massively. Of course, they're not really smashing any gangs either. So I went to talk to a market trader earlier today about her views when it comes to Labour's broken promises and U-turns. How do you feel the government is working for you at the moment?
I wouldn't, if I'm being honest. What are they actually doing? What have we actually seen them do? They were helping people with their gas and electric bills. Was it 150 and now she's dropped that to 115, if I'm right? What have they done? I mean, the gangs have nothing to do with us, but stopping the gangs, I don't think they've done one, have they? I just think everything is just a joke. I'd just like to see one positive thing that they've done, where we have the start, the middle, and then the end, where they say, there's your result.
And don't U-turn on it?
Yeah. Well, there's been plenty of those.
And just say to me here about whether or not you feel like you're almost being penalised for working hard. I mean, you're a stall trader. You know, what time of day do you start?
I'm up on the morning about 5:45.
Oh, right, OK.
Yeah.
And what time are you here till normally?
Till around, we start packing up at 4:30.
OK, all right, so it's a long day. You're on your feet all day.
Yes.
Yeah, and do you think that, you're keeping enough of your own money?
No.
Right.
And then we see a lot of other people getting things for doing nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do. I think you get penalised for working. Most definitely. Yeah.
Okay. And so it feels like the social contract's broken a bit there for you.
Yes, most definitely. I mean, even looking at the moment, my mother-in-law has had to go into a nursing home.
God, okay,
they've worked all their lives, they've paid the taxes, and now they're taking the lot again from her.
It doesn't seem fair, does it?
No, because she has a home, she has savings, so and someone who's never done a day's work in their life, they get put into a care home and it's all free. How is that right? I don't understand it.
All right, well, I am joined now by Councillor Ryan Taylor. Ryan, thank you for talking to us this evening. How big a problem do you think it is when it comes to immigration, legal, illegal, Labour's broken promises or U-turns?
It's a massive problem, what we're seeing in Leeds especially. The Labour Party in Leeds are trying to create what's called a sanctuary city, and we're just getting overwhelmed by it. And then with the National Party of Labour saying that they're going to move them from hotels, what they're doing in this area now is that they're turning student accommodation into asylum hotels, so they don't actually have to call it a hotel. So Mary Morris House in Headingley, in the heart of the student accommodation area, with lots of female students living away from home, they're going to fill it with asylum seekers just so that on the statistics they're not in hotels.
Fudging the numbers, really, isn't it?
Yeah, completely fudging the numbers. We've had them in hotels around here, some of them exposing themselves to people in the street and things like that. The police have swiftly moved them on, but all they're doing is moving the problem elsewhere.
And that is a big issue here for everyone, I suppose, really. And you know, the sanctuary city thing is absolutely nuts, and that seems to be happening, you know, almost right across the UK now. Does anyone get a vote on whether or not you become a sanctuary city out of interest? The public?
No, there's no vote on it. And what they're doing in Leeds at the minute, or what they have done, is that because they're struggling so much for housing, it's a 14-year housing waiting list for social housing. The people I talk to on the doorstep and constituents who speak to me wanting social housing, they've now removed the waiting list as a factor for getting social housing, so that migrants, refugees and asylum seekers can get a fast track to housing through Leeds City Council, through the back door, so British citizens and long-term residents don't get access to social housing.
That's remarkable, isn't it, really? And that also ties in with what that lady was saying there. You know, she gets up every morning, alarm clock goes off at 5:45 in the morning. She doesn't get home until 7 p.m. She's on her feet all day, working hard. She's basically saying that it's paying people more to not work than it is, to not work than it is for a grafter like her. And that's the situation that we're in, and especially when it comes to immigration. Well, look, thank you very much, Ryan. Tremendous to talk to you. It's back to you guys in the studio. See what you make of that.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Yeah, we'll just go straight over to Matthew Larser on this one. Asylum hotels, illegal migrant hotels. There's some claims there being made that you're fast-tracking asylum seekers into accommodation.
Absolutely not true, Alex. I mean, asylum seekers are not being fast-tracked into council accommodation. What's happening is to get people out of hotels. People don't, where hotels could be serving the economy of their local areas. Some, HMOs, houses of multiple occupation, are being used for asylum seekers, but they're not accommodation that would otherwise go to people on the waiting list, and they're certainly not being treated like people on the waiting list who have been treated in the normal way based on housing need.
What about benefits? You haven't done much on that. Your party tried to get a bill passed to reduce the welfare state. However, that failed.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the biggest failure of the government. What we've seen this week is the government coming back to that issue, saying it's not giving up, and it's coming back with more proposals already for the young people who are not in education, employment or training. That's not a life for young people. We need them to start into the world of work, and that's why a new programme of jobs to get the people into that was announced this week. So yes, more needs to be done there, but it is a priority, and the government mustn't take the focus off it.
All right, Lord Bailey, let's talk about asylum hotels, because this crisis started under the Conservative Party. It reached its highest peak under Boris Johnson. Do you think you did enough to try and stop the wave?
No, I don't, and I don't think this government's doing enough either. And here's the problem: they're displacing people, and the public are paying no matter what. So if they're in an asylum hotel, the public pay. If they're in social housing, the public pay. And it's becoming a real problem. And one of Labour's real future risks is not meeting their 1.5 million homes. It probably isn't enough. I don't think we'll get close. But the point is, you have people in this country of all shades that have a serious housing need for 10 and 15 and 20 years, watching that the hope of getting a home evaporate, and it will be another broken promise. The most serious, I believe, broken promise that Labour...
I mean, I don't want to mention the Boris bounce, Sean, and, but we had 1 million plus people come in every year. We're seeing legal migration come down substantially. Obviously, legal migration is a big pressure on housing. People have the right to be here, but we need to house them. You haven't, to be fair.
You've never seen me on here deny that. But what I'm saying is Labour suggested they had an answer, and actually things have gotten worse, and people were hoping that Labour correct. If there's one thing I wanted the government to succeed on, is their 1.5 million homes.
I don't think we're going to build enough houses, but I think we are going to reduce immigration.
They are nowhere near that, and that will be the thing that causes them pain in the election, because people are relying on that for the future of their children, and it's not going to materialise.
Got to leave it there. Of course, we will be back, and Patrick will be back in Leeds in just a few minutes' time. Don't go anywhere.
A camper van and cash could be yours in our very latest Great British Giveaway. You could be driving away in this brand new Benavan 122. This 2026 model, worth over £67,000, comes with all of the mod cons you'd expect. And that's not all, as you'll also get an incredible £25,000 in tax-free cash to boost your bank account this year. For another chance to win a camper van and cash, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB20 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of May. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country. There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor. Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racist tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Wow! It's 10 p.m. I'm Patrick Christys, and tonight we are live in Leeds. Fantastic, I'm having a great time up here. So there's so many big stories about today.
When the British people are facing hard times, and these energy bills will make life harder for the British people, we're determined to act.
Now, make no mistake, this plan means migration will fall. That's a promise.
Does anyone really think that someone can tell President Trump what to do? Come on.
And every single one of those will matter where you live, and they certainly matter right here.
So, you know, when the energy sort of prices start to come in, that's going to hit us hard.
Labour currently has all 7 seats around Leeds. They're set to lose 5 of them. That would include the Chancellor, by the way, Rachel Reeves. Well, there you go. Now, we actually paid a little visit to Rachel Reeves' constituency earlier today. I'm not sure she has, though. Have you ever seen Rachel Reeves here?
I haven't seen her personally, no.
No, I've never seen her.
No.
No.
The key issue for a lot of people is pretty straightforward. They don't think it pays to work anymore, and they think that the social contract is broken.
Too easy to go on welfare. It's too easy. I've worked 43 years. Yeah. Worked since I've 18. Paid tax, enjoying paid taxes. I'm proud to pay taxes, but I'm not giving it away.
But of course, I couldn't come to a city of hard grafters without putting in a little shift myself.
Angle it downwards, you want to be pressing down.
Oh,
yeah,
I
there
see.
You go. You don't want to be sawing it too much. Straight lines is better so you don't damage the fish.
And just in case you couldn't tell, this room is full of tremendous characters. We've certainly met more than enough for today, actually. No, not at all. We met a few crackers. It's brilliant. Here we go.
Well, I'm only 17, but I've had a rough life.
I absolutely love you. I absolutely love you.
And we've got big characters here in the studio with me, Alex Armstrong. We have got Conservative peer Lord Bailey and former Labour advisor Matthew Laza in the room. And plus, I'm going to have all of tomorrow's newspaper front pages and breaking news on the front page of The Express. Inflation to rise in Iran, war shock.
So, it's Alex live in London. It's me here live in Leeds. Get ready, Britain. Here we go.
Good evening. The top stories. Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel acted alone in strikes on Iran's South Pars, part of the world's largest natural gas field. In an update earlier this evening, the Israeli Prime Minister said Donald Trump was not dragged into the war with Iran, adding Iran is weaker than ever.
We are winning, and Iran is being decimated. Iran's missile and drone arsenal is being massively degraded and will be destroyed. Hundreds of their launchers have been destroyed. Their stockpiles of missiles are being hit hard, and so are the industries that produce them. That's important.
It comes after Donald Trump said there are no plans to deploy US ground troops in Iran and claims the US operation is ahead of schedule. That comes as gas prices have soared to a 3-year high across the UK and Europe after an attack on a major energy site in Qatar, which raised fears of global supply disruption. Iranian missile strikes caused significant damage at the Ras Laffan complex, pushing up UK gas prices more than 20%. Donald Trump warned Iran against any further attacks, threatening to massively blow up their major gas field if Tehran attacks Qatar again. Sir Keir Starmer has condemned Iran's actions in the Gulf, warning the escalation could have global consequences. In a joint statement with leaders including France, Germany and Japan, the Prime Minister criticised attacks on commercial vessels and energy infrastructure in what they describe as the de facto closure of the Strait of Hormuz. Ministers say reopening the strait is a priority, while the Prime Minister urges de-escalation to ease pressure on global markets and the cost of living. Elsewhere, the meningitis vaccine rollout in Kent has been expanded now as the number of cases linked to the outbreak has risen to 27. The Health Secretary says anyone who visited a Canterbury nightclub earlier this month, along with students at affected schools and universities, will now be offered vaccines and antibiotics, calling the spread something we've never seen before. 2 people have died and cases have now been confirmed across 4 schools, 2 universities in Kent and 1 institution in London, all linked to a single exposure event. More than 900 people have already been vaccinated, as officials say further cases are expected. A photographer says it was a true honour to take a new portrait photograph of the Prince and Princess of Wales ahead of the state banquet for the Nigerian president at Windsor Castle. The image was taken by British-Nigerian photographer Christiana Ebenezer in Windsor last night and then published on William and Kate's social media channels this evening. The photograph shows Princess Catherine wearing a tiara, a green high-necked dress and a Royal Victorian Order sash as she stands beside Prince William, who's in a white tie and tailcoat decorated with medals. And King Charles has inaugurated a new footpath stretching around the entire coast of England. At 2,689 miles long, it's the longest managed coastal walking route in the world, according to Natural England, the government body which created it. It's been named the King Charles III England Coast Path, and for the first time it creates a continuous trail, allowing walkers to explore England's shoreline step by step, passing through some of the country's most beautiful and varied landscapes. Those are the latest GB News headlines. For now, more news from me in an hour.
Tune in to GB News Radio wherever you are. Online, on DAB digital radio, on TuneIn, on Radio Player, on Nation Player and on your smart speaker. Just say, play GB News.
Welcome to the Morley Services Club here in Leeds. And there is a reason why we've come here, apart from the fact that we just generally like everybody around here. It's a fantastic area to come to get a flavour, really, of what's going on in the wider country. 7 Labour seats around here, set to lose 5 of them, 4 to Reform, 1 to the Greens, and that really is, I think, going to be the big battle at the next general election, isn't it? But Labour was supposed to be the party for working people, and now they're the party for not working people. And that is a really big problem. It's not paying people to go to work anymore, and people have had enough. Labour, I feel, has taken their voters for granted for a very, very long time. And now, as you're about to find out, people have had enough. And that is really, I think, pointed out with places like Ed Miliband in Doncaster North. Well, what's he got to do with Doncaster North? Or born and raised in southeast London, Rachel Reeves, who was parachuted into Pudsey, right? Well, I wanted to find out if anyone there has ever even seen her. Here you go. Have you ever seen Rachel Reeves here?
I haven't seen her personally, no.
Have you ever really seen Rachel Reeves around here?
No, I've never seen her. No.
You lived here for a long time?
Yeah. Well, I live in Bramley, but I've worked in Pudsey all the time, but I've never seen her.
Right. Okay. Do you think anyone really has?
I don't think so. I mean, there's bits that get said on social media and stuff about her being banned in pubs, isn't there, and stuff, but no, I've not seen her personally.
She knocked on our door, but we weren't in.
All right, okay. Was that during an election campaign?
It was before the election, yes.
Right. So apart from then, have you ever seen her?
No. No.
Have you ever seen Rachel Reeves here?
I stood against Rachel Reeves at the GM,
Right,
at the GE.
Right, okay.
But no.
So tell me a bit about yourself then. So.
Well, I stood for reform in the local election and the GE.
Right.
And I came third by 300 votes. So that.
Are you going to be standing for them again next time?
No, I don't think. No, it's all changed since then. This was before Nigel came back in.
Right.
But she turned up to the count and she was treated like a superstar. But when she actually comes door knocking and people try and talk to her, she runs away, then a car draws up, bundles her in and off she goes, but she won't speak to anybody when she's door knocking.
Good grief. Okay. And is she ever actually, here?
No. If there's a photo opportunity, then you might see her, but generally speaking, no. The councillors run West Leeds and Pudsey.
Okay.
And the councillors, are very good. We've got a good reform councillor called Trish Smith, and she does an excellent job for Pudsey. But no, we don't see her.
Right, so have you ever seen Rachel Reeves?
No, no.
Right. Do you live here?
Yes, I've lived here all my life.
Okay.
And I'm 71, so it's a long time.
You don't even really remember seeing her at the last election, particularly campaigning?
No. This constituency used to be either Conservative, sometimes Liberal, and odd Labour. But I don't know how she even got promoted to come here, It's unbelievable.
Is this one of the places she's barred from, by any chance?
Well, I hope so. She'll never get through the front door here, I'm sure.
Right.
Okay.
So, yes, it is worth noting that Rachel Reeves is currently barred from every single pub in her constituency, which tells you quite a lot. Won't matter to her, though, because she's obviously never really here. However, as I was outside one of those pubs, well, something really fascinating happened. And this is why GB News wants to get out and about and speak to real people just in their own communities, because you hear fascinating stories like this, and I bet you when you hear this you'll realise that there are also people where you live who feel exactly the same way as these lads. We've caused a scene outside the pub.
Yeah, I paid tax for 33 years when I draw my pension and spend it in Spain, not over here.
Right.
I'm not giving the satisfaction.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So you don't want to give them any more than you.
Because they waste the money.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
What do you think they waste it on?
They waste it on the policies that are not correct. So they waste it on immigration policy. They waste it on taxes. They waste it on welfare. They waste it on welfare, and I am not going to prepare to spend my money on that. So I'm going to spend it somewhere else.
You're going to go to Spain and do it over there instead?
Absolutely.
Okay. And I mean, there's a lot of people nodding along with this.
Yeah, we all agree. We all agree. Yeah, it's exactly right. This country wastes money, gives money away. The people that have worked 30, 40 years suffer. Suffer. Like yourself, Glenn.
Worked at mill for 40 years, and my brass is now going down pan.
Yeah. Tax.
And is the most egregious example of it for you guys the immigration stuff, do you think?
And the welfare. And the welfare. It's too easy to go on welfare. It's too easy. I've worked 43 years. Worked since I've 18. Paid tax, enjoying paid taxes. I'm proud to pay taxes. But I'm not giving it away. It's going somewhere else.
In hospitals, you can't get in dentists. You struggle to do that when you paid your taxes and you paid your stamp for years.
Doctor. Nightmare to get an appointment with your doctor. Honestly.
I paid £200 the other day to go private. Excess. I had 7 months to get this done on my eye. Paid private. So there you are. And I never go to doctors, but I pay private.
What were you saying there, Sid?
There's a man that's worked all them years and can't get in. Can't get into health. It's unbelievable. 36 years I worked in mill. Unfortunately, there's no mills left apart from Ainsworth. But, you know.
Her constituency, she's a disgrace. Absolute disgrace.
Well, I was actually asking people before, have you ever really seen Rachel Reeves?
No, I've never.
Hang on, I know you have. Yeah, but so have you? Wait, no, of course. So wait, have you ever seen?
No, I can't see her, but I know she's got an house in Bramley. We've never seen her up here. She's actually got a property in Bramley. I've never seen her around here.
Yeah.
Never come across her. Never bumped into her.
What about you?
Yes, I've seen her, but we'll leave it at that.
All right.
Yeah.
Was it near an election campaign?
No, she come for some charity stuff years ago, but we'll leave it at that.
All right. Well, there you go. All right. Well, hey, that's one person who's seen it properly. So there you go. There you go. It's about 6-0. Right. Thank you very much. Right. Well done, guys. Lovely stuff. Take care. Lovely to meet you. All the best. Well, there you go. Unfortunately, that appears to be the state of modern Britain, in especially a lot of Labour areas. Now, I'm joined by a chap called David Dresser. Thank you very, very much. Now, you were a former Labour Party member, weren't you, sir? What changed there for you, and what do you make of what those gentlemen were saying? 36 years he worked in the mills, can't get a doctor's appointment, struggling to make ends meet, all of that stuff.
Well, I was a member of the Labour Party for an activist 20 years, and I left when Jeremy Corbyn was elected leader. But the rot started for me when David Miliband, Ed Miliband, when Ed Miliband won with the Union Bloc vote. And that started the downhill trend for me for the Labour Party. The Labour Party, to me, has been, from what it was traditionally for the working people, has stopped being from the working people. It became very woke. They had, with Rachel Reeves, she was parachuted in. I was at the actual dinner when she was parachuted in, when John Battle stood down. There was a bit of controversy within the Labour Party in Leeds at that point in time, but she's not really, I don't think she's a Leeds person particularly.
And that matters in places like this, doesn't it?
It definitely does, and I think because she's now standing in the Pudsey, I think she's really vulnerable there, because it's slightly changed. But as far as the Labour Party is concerned, I think it's definitely become a lot more not for the working people, and definitely for the more woke middle class.
Okay, fantastic. Now, thank you very much, David. Now, I have a very special guest here, and I'll be honest with you, I had no idea this was happening until I walked into the room tonight. There's a lovely lady called Carol Kershaw. And Carol, do you want to explain your connection to me, please?
I run your supporters group on Facebook. 188,000 members.
Thank you very much. I had no idea that Carol lived in this neck of the woods. I mean, just thank you so much, Carol. It's been an absolute pleasure to meet you here. I mean, I was going to ask you what made you set it up, but then that's going to tee you up for telling the world how great I am,
I'm your favourite fan.
Look, what's it like for you around here, Carol? You've heard people there saying that they feel like they've worked hard all their lives and that they've not got a lot to show for it, and that they're having to pay taxes to people who they think don't necessarily deserve it. What do you make of that?
Well, that's true. I mean, I've just found that the Labour Party have done nothing for the working man. They've done nothing for the younger people, for the young person at all. They've done nothing, certainly nothing for us pensioners. I mean, I have a very tiny private pension, and they gave us a £12 rise, and they took £6 off us in tax, and then the council tax goes up, everything goes up, the food goes up, and it's just sometimes very difficult to make ends meet. Heating goes up, everything, petrol goes up, everything. Yeah.
Well, look, thank you very, very much, and thank you for setting up that group as well. It's amazing. Cheers. I appreciate it. All right, I'm going to throw it back to you in the studio. It'll be interesting to see what you make of the fact that Rachel Reeves never really appears to be here, but also that idea there that you're hearing from a lot of people that have paid into the system all their lives, feel as though that money hasn't got them anything, and that actually some of them are considering leaving because they don't want to give another penny to the taxman here in Britain.
Yes, that's right. Thank you, Patrick. Well, she's not in Nottingham Forest, is she, Rachel Hurd? Is she? She's not in Sherwood Forest, should I say?
Who are moving through to Europe tonight?
Yeah, well, there you go.
I know nothing about football. My colleagues just say he's a big Nottingham Forest fan, says that he's very happy tonight.
There you go. Congratulations if they play a good game. But where is Rachel Reid? She's not in her constituency.
Well, no, she's often in her constituency. Look, I mean, we let Patrick have a bit of fun. And as he said at the beginning when he name-checked various politicians, I mean, Nigel Farage isn't from Clacton, and indeed he seems to only go to Clacton on English Tourism Day, as the wags jumped on at the weekend. But Rachel is always out and about in her constituency. Obviously, she's the Chancellor of the Exchequer, so that takes up time. But they make sure that they carve out and protect constituency time. So, you know, she was celebrating the 20 million from the government from Pride in Place for Armley and New Worsley in Leeds, opening the new Pudsey sixth form college. And last Thursday, she was at an event with 400 people in Leeds as well. So she's often out and about. Obviously, in any constituency, no MP has been seen by everybody, no matter who they are. So it's nice to have a bit of fun, but realistically, she's very passionate about her constituency.
I do think that's fair. She is the Chancellor at the end of the day. She's got a big job to do, and I think we're encouraging her to do more of that job than anything else. If I'm being honest with you, that would be my stance on this, and I think that would go for the same for most politicians, actually. You're criticising Nigel Farage there, but he's the leader of a party that's currently leading the polls. He's busy as well. Sean, you've worked with loads of politicians in the past. They're always busy people.
Listen, especially when you're senior, look, it's not for me to row to Rachel Reid's rescue, but she is the Chancellor, and that's arguably the biggest job in the country. So, you know, unfortunately for her constituency, they'll see her less, but she can have more of effect for them if you see what I mean. I think.
But I do also understand, and I'll put this to you, I do understand as well that, you know, people who vote for MPs want to see their local MPs represented. I do understand.
I'd have to say, mostly on all sides of the House, the MPs are quite present. I'd argue that in the last 10 or 15 years, MPs have become more about their constituencies, not less.
Good.
Across parties, as you say, Sean.
Well, should we talk about taxes then? Should we talk about taxes? That's a big theme here. But people aren't feeling the pound in their pocket anymore, Matthew. Do you think that the Labour Party are pushing taxes to record highs off the back of the last government's push to record highs? Your party doesn't seem to be able to get that tax burden down, unfortunately. That's hurting people.
Look, I think, you know, clearly taxes are, at a high historically, and I don't think anybody wants to see them stay at that high for the sake of it. The Labour Party must never give the impression it's taxing for tax's sake. You know, I was hoping until, and let's see what happens, and hopefully events will play out and things will calm down in the Middle East and on energy price consequence.
Drilling.
Absolutely. Well, I agree with that. As I said before. But seriously, I think I would hope the Labour government will be looking at cutting taxes later in the Parliament.
There's no chance the Labour Party cut taxes because they've really made all of the sort of red tape in the background expensive. And here's the key thing. We have so many people who are economically inactive that Labour pandered to before the election. They can't abandon those people now. So we're in a bit of a doom loop. They're going to have to really take a brave pill to deal with that.
Yeah, that's going to be the interesting balancing act for perhaps the next party leader as well, if the May elections don't go Keir Starmer's way. But it's all to play for, isn't it? But time now for the Great British Giveaway. It's the biggest prize of the year, isn't it? It's worth over 92 grand, 25k in tax-free cash indeed. Here's all the details.
A camper van and cash could be yours in our very latest Great British Giveaway. You could be driving away in this brand new Benavan 122. This 2026 model, worth over £67,000, comes with all of the mod cons you'd expect. Alloy wheels, solar panel, electric step and plenty of storage space. Plus, it comfortably sleeps 4 people. It's the ultimate home from home. And that's not all, as you'll also get an incredible £25,000 in tax-free cash to boost your bank account this year. It's a prize package worth over £92,000 and it could be yours. For another chance to win a camper van and cash, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB20 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of May. The winner may be contacted live after all entry routes have closed. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yes, of course. Coming up next, we're back in Leeds with Patrick Christys. That's coming up.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk
No,
now?
that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Great to see you. Thanks for joining the Late Show Live. Are you excited for the arrival of our Harry and America's Meghan?
Oh, look, we're always excited for the arrival of anyone who's royally adjacent, and that's what you can call them these days. What I'm mostly excited about, though, is in several decades of covering the royals, of course, when they came here in 2018, they were at the peak of their global power and fascination. Meghan announced that she was pregnant with baby Archie. They sat on the sand. Meghan baked banana bread. We couldn't get enough of them. We absolutely loved them. But here, 7 years later, this is a country built on mateship, on loyalty, on service, and I don't think they represent those characteristics anymore.
No, I'm with you. I mean, I said last night, I went on a bit of a rant saying, you know, Meghan especially preaches humanity and compassion and forgiveness. I mean, look how she treated her dad. There's some event in Australia, either in Melbourne or Sydney, where they're holding a speech, basically. Tickets start at £1,000, with tickets rising to more than £9,000 sterling for a platinum table of 8. Do you think, I mean, who is buying those £9,000 tickets, do you think, Angela?
Look, we don't have that kind of wealth in Australia. Well, certainly not that sort of wealth that would pay for those sort of people. I think we would pay for technology experts or thought leaders, but I don't put Meghan in that category. Look, one of those events, the one that Meghan's speaking at, is the Besties event, where we think we'll just hear, what I suspect is we'll just hear more of the same that we've heard in her podcasts, which, you know, if anyone who listened to them, they were as boring as batshit. So the fact that she's going to charge this amount of money, that event is only thought to make £500,000.
GB News, the People's Channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Welcome back to Leeds, everybody. How are the drinks going down tonight, everyone? All right? Yeah, fantastic. It's always a good crack when you get out of London. I've always said it. Fantastic. Now, look, there are many criticisms of the Labour Party, which you've heard this evening. One of them, though, is that many of them have not only never run a business in their lives, they probably couldn't run a bath, and they don't really know what it means to work and graft for a living. Well, someone who does was this bloke who carves meat for a living. Right, here we go.
There we are, knife. Be careful with it.
There we are. I mean, the way that you do that is just expert, isn't it, really?
Well, it's a few years' practice.
So, just tell me a little bit about, because Rachel Reeves' constituency is round the corner from here.
Yeah.
She's the Chancellor. What do you make of her, really? I mean, is she ever here much? Do you see much of her?
Never seen her.
Right.
No. So, we see a few of the MPs coming down here and down, but I've never seen her.
Oh.
And it's one of them things you get to know that who's coming, because the market always lets you, the market always lets you know. So, no, I've never seen her.
Right. What would you say to her, do you think, if she... Just chop it any way I like?
Any way you like, as long as it ends up small.
OK, fair enough. So what would you say, do you think, to Rachel Reeves if she popped in to say hello and ask how you think she's getting on?
I'd probably say to her, it's all right looking after the people what's unemployed, but you can have more unemployed if you don't look after the small businesses.
Right, so you think there's a bit too much of a focus on
the unemployed.
Well, I suppose benefits is what that is, isn't it?
Yes.
Right.
I mean, we all need help, but you know, you can end up with more and more unemployed if you don't help small businesses.
all the businesses really.
And are you seeing a knock-on effect with the state of the economy in terms of the number of people coming here, suppliers, whether it's restaurants and things like that?
Yes. Restaurants, we seem to be more of them closing down than opening. We're struggling to get paid off some of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've had more go bust on me in the last couple of years, so that every time that a restaurant goes bust, they're owing me money, so I'm losing out.
Gosh. Okay, so look, practically speaking, mate, what could this government do to improve your life?
Improve my life? Stop putting things up, really. Like the minimum wage, it's all right saying people have got to live and everything else, but if we carry on putting up the minimum wage, I can't afford to employ staff.
Yeah. Have you had to let anyone go?
Well, I haven't yet, but I probably would have to think about it if it goes up any further.
Well, what do you make of Keir Starmer as a bloke?
It's a bit quiet, a bit not...
Doesn't inspire you?
No, it doesn't, no. No, you don't stand there thinking, well, he's going to help us out, he's going to shout and carry on and get things done.
You want someone with a bit of oomph, do you?
Yeah, really. You need somebody with a bit of a personality, really.
Oh, we're in quite an interesting area, this. So there's 7 Labour seats around Leeds. This is one of them at the moment. And they're set to lose 5 of them. 4 are due to go Reform, 1's due to go Green. This is due to go to the Green Party, apparently. How do you feel about that? What do you think about
that? Well, this is Labour's fault, really, to an extent, because they've just set their sights on one task and one task only, and that's helping the unemployed. Whereas the Greens and the other parties are aiming widespread for other things. So I can see that's why they're getting in and people are starting to listen to these other parties. And a lot of the Green, naturally, I don't agree with because I live by killing animals.
Well, yes. I mean,
So I've got all them. But saying that, you've still got to listen to them and look at.
I'm just very worried this woman's about to chop her hand off.
No, you learn to keep your hand out of the way.
Oh, I hope so. It's going to be a very different show in a minute. There we go. So, OK, so you're not particularly excited about the idea of living under a Green government.
No,
I understand that.
No.
Fair enough. OK. And what about the idea of Reform, then? Where are you on that?
Well, just gone out. Reform? Again, like Labour, I like some of the policies, but then they go too far the other way on some of them.
Yeah. What bothers you about some of the things that Reform are doing?
Well, it's all right saying we're going to stop the
votes
coming in, but they've got nowhere else to go either.
Right.
So when we've best accepting them in, getting them in working and getting them paying taxes.
Right.
Quicker, rather than putting them into these hostels and keeping them there and get them out working, really, is what I'm saying. It'll help the country.
Right. OK.
And it's what we need. We need people who's prepared to do all the little jobs we don't want to do. You know, the bin cleaning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's road sweeping and...
Interesting.
Yeah,
would you'd employ one of them here, would you?
Oh yeah, I would. Yeah, quite happily, yeah.
Fantastic.
Would, yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, look, I'll tell you what. If there's anyone in Calais now watching, right, you've got a job here at this butcher's. If you want it, there you go.
As long as they work.
As long as they work. Right. How am I doing here?
You're doing all right. Yeah. A bit more there to do yet, though.
Bit more there to do. Well, there we go. Well, look, can I just say, as I finish this off, thank you very, very much for giving us the time today.
No,
and it has been an absolute pleasure meeting
nice
you.
To see you.
It's just great to talk to you and get out of London a bit, you know. It's nice. Well, look, I couldn't leave here without talking to what I think has been the liveliest table that I've met all evening, so thank you very much, everybody. Paula's with me here. Paula, what that gentleman was saying there is that basically we're spending too much on benefits, that hard-working people are having to part with too much of their hard-earned cash to give to people, well, who aren't working.
Absolutely, I totally agree, and I think what we're not doing in this country is looking after our own first, our elderly. I'm a volunteer with the elderly, and I think our veterans are overlooked, and we're spending money on people that actually can go to work and choose not to because work doesn't pay. And, you know, Alarm Clock Britain, we talk about it all the time, but those people that go out and work hard should see some benefit, and I don't believe they are.
And do you think that's maybe sucking the hope out of people? I mean, one of the key phrases that I've heard time and time and time again today, especially from some of those market traders, was that they think that basically they could be earning more money by not going to work.
And it's disgraceful, you know. The benefit system that is here to help people that fall on hard times, it's not a lifestyle choice. And I think too many people are assuming that it's a lifestyle choice. And then what image and what are we telling our children? Actually, don't bother getting educated, don't bother going to university, don't bother getting an apprenticeship, just to sit back and do nothing. That, like, what we're trying to teach our young people, you know?
And I think, again, this is another thing that's really stood out for me here today, is that it's one thing ramping up taxes on, you know, the super wealthy, but it's another thing ramping up the taxes on people who get up early in the morning, who own a butcher's in the market, and they're the ones who are really feeling the pinch. And I think when you see that, you have to really think, look, something is going badly wrong here. They're not the people who should be being squeezed.
And also, how are we going to afford this? How are we going to pay for this? So all the people that go to work are going to have to pay more taxes in order to supplement people that don't go to work. You know, I'm the mother of two veterans, you know, who have both served in Afghanistan, and they both work hard, they've got great jobs, and they really work hard, and I'm so proud of them. And that's the sort of young people that we need to encourage, you know, not people sitting on the backsides watching TV.
Well, Paul, look, thank you very, very much. It's really great to get your views on the show. It's been great chatting to all of you as well, but we're not done yet. We're not done yet because we have got the newspaper front pages coming your way. Alex is going to be doing those in London, and then we'll get everyone here to react to that. So you're going to get a bit of new news very soon with all of your front pages.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Whilst high pressure dominates the UK's weather, low pressure is forced further south, bringing heavy rain into the Canaries and another low, causing a lot of breezy weather through the Greek islands, certainly lower than average temperatures here, and some heavy showers and thunderstorms moving through the Greek islands into Turkey as well as Cyprus by the weekend. Low pressure also bringing one or two showers across Spain and Portugal. A lot of fine weather for Italy, but it stays very unsettled through the weekend across the Canaries.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Good evening. Welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. Temperatures falling away overnight, making for a fresh start to Friday, but for most places it's going to be another day of blue skies and plenty of sunshine. High pressure is dominating. Now today we've had this weather front just draped across parts of the far north of England and the south of Scotland, making for cloudy skies. That'll tend to shift a little further south the cloud through the night, breaking up a little more over southeast Scotland. Could produce the odd spot of drizzle, but for most places it's dry and most places are going to be clear. Still a bit of a breeze blowing across the southwest. With the light winds elsewhere, though, temperatures will dip close to freezing, maybe a little below in some rural spots. So a chilly start to Friday for sure, but the sun has a bit of welly about it this time of year, so quite quickly the temperatures should start to rise. A bit more cloud trying to drift into the Western Isles and the Northern Isles of Scotland, but I think generally a sunnier day for southeast Scotland compared to today. Could be a bit of mist and fog early on, but that should clear. There will be a bit more cloud tomorrow, I suspect, over parts of eastern England. But even here, I'm optimistic it will break up as we go through the day if you're looking for sunny skies. Still, something of a breeze blowing along the south coast, and particularly in the far southwest. But it's just a bit of a breeze, really, not as windy as it was during yesterday. And the winds will pick up a little bit in the far northwest as well. But generally light winds, plenty of sunshine and feeling warmer with sunnier skies in southeast Scotland. Look at that, 16 in Edinburgh. Further south, temperatures also 16, 17 degrees. So feeling very pleasant. It will turn cold again Friday night into Saturday morning. Again, some frost possible to start the weekend. But look at that, plenty of sunshine. A bit more cloud in northern Scotland. A weather front approaching could bring some showery rain to the Highlands and the Western Isles at times. But for most, the sun will continue into the weekend. And yes, a chilly start, but by the afternoon, temperatures easily getting into the mid-teens.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health, Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, DC.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Patrick Christys tonight. Well, we're going to go through your front pages now. Should we start with the Daily Express? Let's have a little look at that. They're saying inflation to rise in Iran, war shock. That's not the first time we've heard that, is it? Let's go to the Independent. Stop the madness now. End this war before it's too late. I think on your screens, if you're listening on radio, that is a picture of an oil field burning. I think that's in relation to the latest strike there today by Israel. But there we go. The Guardian, new threat from Iran as fears grow of energy crisis. We'll definitely tap on that one. And the Metro. Tina Returner. There we go. There we go. We love to see a bit of Tina Returner, don't we? All right, look, I just want to talk to you briefly, Matthew, about welfare, because we've been speaking a lot about welfare in this show. And a big criticism of many people is that it doesn't pay to work anymore. And actually, a lot of people are better off on benefits under this government. We have seen welfare state increase since Labour got into office. You failed to get that bill past the backbenchers. Is there any hope of getting the welfare bill down? I did see a tweet go out by somebody saying that we're going to spend more than we raise in income tax just to pay the welfare bill.
Well, if you do that figure, that very much includes pensions, which is a huge chunk. Look, I think we all know that how important welfare is to protect the more vulnerable in our society. I don't think anybody wants to be slashing welfare for seriously ill and disabled people. You say Labour's put the welfare bill up. We got rid of the inhumane 2-children benefit cap, which is at a stroke the biggest thing we could do to tackle child poverty. But do we want to see those who can work into work? Do we want to support people with, say, less absolutely health conditions that will absolutely restrict their right to work? Do people who've got, say, anxiety and some more less severe mental health conditions, do we want to help them into work? Because it actually may help with those conditions in terms of being out in the world rather than stuck at home. Then absolutely, and that is a priority for the government. But we must always, I think I'm proud as a society that we look after our most disabled and vulnerable people, and indeed that we look after our seniors as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, I understand where you're coming from. Lord Bailey, Tories, obviously, that's the big thing for you guys, is that you're capitalists. You want people to be out into the workforce, don't you? You don't want to be have people sat at home. Do you think Labour's doing enough?
Let's be clear, what Labour's done on welfare is a problem for us all. And the fact that they won't say that we should cut the 2-child benefit, bearing in mind that most British families only have 2 child, you can only sustain that if the state's going to pay. That isn't correct. It's unsustainable. They won't tell people with minor mental health issues that they can't sit on benefits years and years and years. And what's incredible about Labour and their confusion about welfare, their own Prime Minister said that the current welfare system traps people in welfare, which I believe is correct, but yet he's done nothing about that. He's made it worse, and it's going to drag the whole economy down. Let's be clear. If the Tories
did this start under the Conservative Party?
I'd argue no. I personally think we all could have done a bit more about welfare, because here's the thing: the answer to poverty isn't welfare, it's ambition. It is work.
I agree with that.
It is work. And unfortunately, Labour are afraid of telling people you're going to have to work. They've launched lots of regulations and things like national insurance hike. That means there won't be any work for people. So there's people sat at home who think, well, I would quite happily go to work if there's some work to go to. And they're right, there isn't. And we are in a bit of a doom loop, and Labour are going to have to stop tinkering around the edges and step out and do something significant.
Yeah, will be interesting to see. Well, look, let's get onto the front pages, shall we? Let's go to The Guardian here. New threat from Iran as fears grow of energy crisis. Now, Matthew, the first thing I think of when I hear this, because of course Iran's threatening to widen the war out. I mean, whether they can or not is a big question. But of course, Israel attacked Qatar today, and there's a big concern that this is going to really hit oil hard. We sit on tons and tons of oil in the North Sea. Ed Miliband refuses to drill it, refuses to open up new fields. That's whilst we buy from the North Sea, from Norway. It doesn't make any sense, does it?
Well, yeah, I mean, the truth of the matter is that I get frustrated with this energy discussion because I believe that we should, certainly the government's got this decision to make on whether it allows the Rosebank field to go ahead, which was quashed by the courts, as had been previously approved, which was extending an existing field. The government hasn't said no to brand new licences, but not no to continuing to extract. I personally think that we shouldn't be importing gas from elsewhere, gas and oil from elsewhere when we have it, when we contribute to it from our own resources. But at the moment, about 97% of our gas is either Scottish or Norwegian. UK and Norwegian, I was being a bit controversial there, because some of it comes off the English coast as well. The problem is that the price goes up in international markets. So at the moment, Japan, which gets a lot of its gas and energy, is panicked. The price goes up on international markets, and therefore the price goes up, even if it's ours. So it wouldn't necessarily mean that the bills went down.
But two things. This makes an absolute mockery of all of the stuff that Ed Miliband's been talking about.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Absolute mockery. He needs to release not only the new licences, but the current licences. Sorry, he needs to keep the current licence and release new licences. That is a fact. His net zero stuff is nonsense because it isn't focused on energy security. And as a party, Labour Party, that likes to nationalise things, you'd think that they would figure out a way of making sure they can use our nationalised assets to lower our prices.
Yeah. No, I think there's going to be a lot of discussion about this. It will be a big deal here in Britain, won't it, if our energy prices continue to soar, and if your oil prices, your petrol prices go up as well, people will start wondering whether the Energy Secretary's got his priorities in the right place. All right, look, coming up, we're going to go back to Patrick for a little goodbye. I'm sure he's going to have a brilliant time there in that pub. We'll see you in 2.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Britain's pothole problem is spiralling. According to car repair company QuickFit, damage caused by potholes has cost drivers a staggering £1.7 billion. And here in Wales, many drivers say the situation is becoming a nightmare. The Welsh Government says it's repaired 171,000 potholes across the country so far. But here in the city of Newport, some locals are not convinced.
We have some really giant potholes in Newport, and I'm really concerned we could end up with some fatalities at night with people riding on motorbikes and cycles. So it's a real big issue for the people in Newport, and it's in a really bad state.
And it's not just city streets feeling the strain. In rural areas, residents often have no alternative routes, meaning potholes are almost impossible to avoid. Nigel Hallett is the chair of Mickleston and Vedu Community Council and says rural communities face it, but some residents say their claims are still being refused, including one woman whose husband was left with a £350 repair bill.
We tried to claim with the council. Initially, one letter went off, standard letter return to say, no, you didn't tell us that the fault was there before you hit it, so we can't pay any claims out. So he's just back and forth constantly now.
The council says it understands residents' frustrations and has made road maintenance a major priority in its budget. Alongside a £6.6 million resurfacing programme already underway, it says more than £20 million is being invested in Newport's roads between 2025 and 27.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to stop. You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, Parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Before we go to Patrick, let's just get through some more papers, shall we? Let's go to the Eye. World energy shock hits UK with bill rises set to last for years. Not good news for that pledge by the Energy Secretary, Ed Miliband, to lower your costs, is it? The Telegraph. Saudis threaten strikes on Iran. The Daily Mail. Iran war unleashes mortgage shock for millions. I mean, what is this war not going to touch these days? The Sun. Hell's bills. Yes, that certainly seems to be the case. Look, shall we talk about this in the Daily Telegraph here? We've got number 10 on the front page in the top right. It's not the lead story, but it's the sort of side story here. Number 10, twice rejected ethics chief's offer to vet Mandelson. I will read some more of this out to you at 11 o'clock, but just while we've got limited time, Matthew, it doesn't look good, does it? We're seeing more and more, we're learning more and more about the situation as to how Mandelson was appointed, and what we're seeing more and more is that the Prime Minister really actually didn't have enough of a hand in it. Where he didn't make the right decision, and the people around him just felt like Mandelson was getting pushed through without enough vetting.
Well, I mean, one of the problems I think the government's got over this is that we're getting things coming out in dribs and drabs, and actually what we need to get is the complete picture, because actually the stuff we got last week was interesting, but it didn't give the complete picture. In fact, in some ways it gave a slightly false picture, because, you know, some of the claims that were made are not actually true, but they're the natural conclusion when you haven't got every part of the jigsaw. So I think we need to know exactly, you know, what options were offered in terms of non-political vetting to the government. If the government rejected those, then there's going to be questions to answer. But I want to see the whole picture.
But, you know, this is the thing, Matthew. When the Prime Minister's asked about this stuff by Kemi Badenoch, who did a really good job in the House of Commons the other day, he doesn't answer the question, and this is so infuriating. And I don't know what you think, Lord Bailey, but whenever I see that in Parliament, I think a non-answer is as good as saying, well, no, I didn't do the vetting that I needed to do.
Look, let's be clear. The way these things are coming out is leading to the assumption that the Prime Minister has something to hide. And this latest revelation really points to the fact that it's not... What Labour have tried to do is hide behind the vetting process. Let's be very clear. This is just another demonstration that the vetting process is perfectly fine. So all this stuff going through Parliament about changing the vetting process is a smoke screen. If at any point the PM had adhered to the vetting system, he would have never had to deal with this Mandelson problem. But he and his office, for which he carries the bag, made decisions to ignore the vetting process, hence we ended up with Mandelson. This, for me, rests plainly with the PM. And the reason I'm so emphatic about this, can you imagine if the boot was on the other foot?
Yes.
You had Keir Starmer placing himself as Mr. Rules. You had Keir Starmer talk about Tory sleaze as if it was impossible for him to end up in this mess. This is a far bigger mess than any Tory politician was been in. I think the Labour Party now, forget the rest of us for a second, the Labour Party need to start to do something about this PM.
Yeah, I think the pressure is going to build. I mean, we'll see what happens with the local elections, because I think that's going to be the moment which Keir Starmer is tested. But listen, we've got loads more to talk about here in the studio, as you can see. But let's go back to Patrick Christys in Leeds. He's probably having a great time over there. Patrick, over to you.
Yeah, look, absolutely. What I wanted to do was get some people here to comment on some of those front pages that you heard. We're joined by Craig here, who's a retired RAF aircrew. Craig, some of the front pages there, Trump, Iran, energy, etc. What would you say to people about what's going on?
Well, I'm a little concerned that people think petrol at £2 a gallon is worse than being nuked. You know, if they get the nuclear weapons, my view is they'd probably use them. Right. And, you know, it's got to be stopped, hasn't it? And Trump's not doing himself any favours by attacking them. He's probably going to lose the House. He's certainly going to lose the Senate. But he's done it anyway.
And you think he's done it genuinely because he needed to? Well, what do you think about...
I think he's done it because he's more interested in the world than he is in running America.
And just quickly, what do you make of Starmer's response to it? You know, kind of accused of sitting on the fence initially.
Have you seen him punch that punch bag? You know, he's got one less testicle than Hitler.
Okay, well, there we go. We are obviously on live television, so there we go. Right, okay. So obviously he would say that he's doing a tremendous job. Michael's here now. Michael has had a career in kind of academia and healthcare before. Some of the other big stories relating to the meningitis issue, NHS overload. What do you think about the state of the NHS?
I think the NHS itself isn't the problem, it's the way it's managed. We've got somebody at the head of the NHS in government now who's about as much use probably as an inflatable doll.
Okay. Oh wow! Well, I thought we were going to get something else then. What he actually said was fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
Great guy, I'm sure. But the problem is management. We've got like 60% of nurses working 12-hour shifts. And in the last century, we knew that this was not good for decision making. We're losing 600,000 days of working nursing, and it's most of the time those people are going off sick with mental health problems, stress, anxiety, that kind of thing. It's the way it's managed. If it was managed properly, we'd have more people in work, less people waiting in corridors and A&E, and things would work better. But that's the main thing, I think, at the moment.
All right, OK. Well, look, that's basically it from us here. And I just want to say a massive, massive thank you to every single one of you who's given up your Thursday night to come here, to spend time with us, to talk about everything, to set the world to rights, to drink a few pints and all of that. I would also like to thank all of the people that I met over the course of the day, all those market stall traders, everybody out and about. It's been absolutely wonderful. I want to keep doing this every single month. If you think I should come to your area, by the way, then all you have to do is get in touch with us, gbviews@gbnews.uk. Thank you to Alex and the panel for holding the fort back at base. You do have another hour with Alex. He's going to be whizzing you through all of the front pages, possibly not in as entertaining fashion as these two gentlemen here, but you know what, there we go. I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody. It's goodbye from Leeds. It's goodbye. Well done.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good evening. Welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. Temperatures falling away overnight, making for a fresh start to Friday, but for most places it's going to be another day of blue skies and plenty of sunshine. High pressure is dominating. Now today we've had this weather front just draped across parts of the far north of England and the south of Scotland, making for cloudy skies. That'll tend to shift a little further south the cloud through the night, breaking up a little more over southeast Scotland. Could produce the odd spot of drizzle, but for most places it's dry and most places are going to be clear. Still a bit of a breeze blowing across the southwest. With the light winds elsewhere, though, temperatures will dip close to freezing, maybe a little below in some rural spots. So a chilly start to Friday for sure, but the sun has a bit of welly about it this time of year, so quite quickly the temperatures should start to rise. A bit more cloud trying to drift into the Western Isles and the Northern Isles of Scotland, but I think generally a sunnier day for southeast Scotland compared to today. Could be a bit of mist and fog early on, but that should clear. There will be a bit more cloud tomorrow, I suspect, over parts of eastern England, but even here I'm optimistic it will break up as we go through the day if you're looking for sunny skies. Still something of a breeze blowing along the south coast and particularly in the far southwest, but it's just a bit of a breeze, really, not as windy as it was during yesterday. And the winds will pick up a little bit in the far northwest as well. But generally light winds, plenty of sunshine and feeling warmer with sunnier skies in southeast Scotland. Look at that, 16 in Edinburgh. Further south, temperatures also 16, 17 degrees. So feeling very pleasant. It will turn cold again Friday night into Saturday morning. Again, some frost possible to start the weekend. But look at that, plenty of sunshine. A bit more cloud in northern Scotland. A weather front approaching could bring some showery rain to the Highlands and the Western Isles at times. But for most, the sun will continue into the weekend. And yes, a chilly start, but by the afternoon, temperatures easily getting into the mid-teens.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Most of the front pages, it looks like Iran is going to destroy the economy and your back pocket, the pound in your back pocket, because we're now hearing rumours of an energy crisis, a mortgage crisis, a recession. How bad is this? And are we going to have to see Ed Miliband, the energy secretary, do a massive U-turn on his net zero madness? On the bottom here, on the Telegraph as well, ban mass Muslim prayer, says Nigel Farage. Is that something we should be doing in Britain? We'll be discussing that with my top panel coming up next here on Patrick Christys Tonight Late Edition.
You could be the proud owner of a brand new Benevan 122. This very latest 2026 model comfortably sleeps 4, comes complete with built-in kitchen, compact washroom, and is worth over £67,000. But that's not all, as we'll also give you a further £25,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like in the coming year. For another chance to win a camper van and cash, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB20 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of May. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it?
because
the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.